Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Gentle Dreams. I'm Mike. Today we have the RZR back in the shop. So, if you saw the video last week, you have seen that he had a problem. So, I had put the new rock rails on, and the following weekend we went to go for a ride. And he didn't even make it 2 miles out of camp. His foot got stuck underneath the brake pedal going over a water bar, and it wound up full throttle, launched, flipped, landed on its side. Bent the rod here, bent the rod there, bent some other stuff. But we're going to fix this area back here. We've got some new parts right here I'm going to put on. We went with the Super ATV high clearance radius arms for the back to replace this. I mean, this one right here is high clearance at the moment. And then we got their new trailing arms because that one there has a little bit of a twist in it. So we'll put those on. That way we could go out to the next poker run out there. We'll worry about some of the other stuff later. It's going to need the front A-arm replaced. This the one over there is tweaked a little bit. It needs the bars and the doors adjusted a little bit and stuff, but we get these fixed and the machine will be good to go for riding for a while. I'll need to pull the top of bumper off and see if I can press this out, or if I'm going to have to cut it, pull it out. Worry about that stuff later. Anyway, I'll go ahead and get started. I'll show you what it's like putting these on. I've never put these on a RZR. I have done A-arms on machines, but haven't done the radius arms and trailing arms. But I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. So we'll find out. Probably the biggest deal is going to be that it has a bumper and a hitch. And that's the area that holds the radius arms. So something in there might change. I don't know. Probably have to loosen the whole bumper up to get them in there. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get started on that. Take you along the way and see what we learn. Okay, so far what I have learned. These Super ATV parts are way heavier than stock. So the space, the width of these are a lot narrower than those. You can kind of see that. Quite a bit different in that. So I was trying to do one side and then the other. So I loosened them all, but these wouldn't fit in there. So I had to pretty much take the nuts off of that side completely so that the hitch and the bumper would move back. If you were using the plate, if you didn't have this stuff, you'd just have the plate. Be a little easier to work with because you're not lining as much stuff up. But you just take these little, I think they call them misalignment washers. And these things here, they got a little O-ring on them. And that goes right into that. Just like that. And that's your pivot for that. They come preset to the stock lengths. They tell you to go ahead and check them. It looked like they were pretty close. Let's see, what else did I learn? So some of these you can get to the nut right there. You can get a wrench on, but the ones back there you can't really. But if you turn the rotor, you can line it up to go through the hole. So that helps for getting those nuts out. Something I haven't figured out yet is they have this little guard. I gotta look at the instructions a little more. They got this guard on here to help prevent rocks and stuff from hitting the shaft. Well, there's so much structure on this new one. It said something about taking this off and turning it 180. So I haven't figured that out yet. I don't know if you need a spring compressor and you turn this bracket that's sandwiched in there around 180. so that you're just using those 2 screws and it's not using this third one, and you can put it back on. I'm not sure, so that's something I have to look into still. You just undo all of these bolts, or these screws holding the brake line. They don't give provisions for this piece on the new one. It just has a clamp, and it's just got a spot to clamp it down like that. You know, if you wanted to, you could drill holes in that and put one of those guards back on. I don't know if there's enough light up here, but I'll have to take that clip off of the frame right there to get some more slack for these to run around and run on back. So it's not really too hard. I got to figure out that part, and it kind of looks like that sway bar in-link got bent also, so we might have to address that. Maybe I can straighten it for now and then get a new one, or we can disconnect the sway bar for a trip, and you know, the machine will be a lot more wobbly, but you'll have a lot better suspension travel and a smoother ride. So it's kind of a hit and miss, because this one here I can see is nice and straight, so that one's got a nice kink in the bottom. So like I say, I might be able to bend it back for now. So I'll just keep going. I'm gonna put some Loctite on all these, because you're reusing the old hardware on all of this stuff, and they are a nylock. Nylocks are really only good one time, because once you thread it on, the nylon has got threads cut in it. It still has some holding power, but not like a brand new one. So I'm gonna put a little dab of blue Loctite on all of these and these ones here, and I'll tighten all that stuff back up. And the forward part of the trailing arm, I'll put some blue Loctite on that, because that's a stock bolt. The shocks are stock bolts. The only new bolts they give you are for these here, because it's so much thicker, they got to give you a longer bolt. So I will put some of those on, and then I'll put the other side on, and see what it looks like. You can kind of see the difference, pretty drastic difference. That's a lot nicer looking orange, I think. You get quite a bit more clearance with this high clearance arm. This runs close to parallel. Whoops, camera's not pointing right. This runs close to parallel with the axle. So there's just one less spot to hang up on. I figure there's not a lot of need for high clearance trailing arms, because they're flat on the bottom. If you get on something, you could just slide across it if you were in that situation. The high clearance ones kind of go up and then back down, so it seems like it would actually give a spot to get hung up. Just my opinion. But anyway, that's how it's going. Doesn't seem to be too bad. I will continue. If I learn anything else before the thing's over, like I said, I'll figure out those shocks. I'll bring you back, show you that, and I'll show you it when it's all back together, sitting on the ground. All right, here we go. All right, so it's all back together. That's what it looks like right there. Gonna need to do a little more tweaking on the bumper, get that away from the body a little bit. But we got the suspension back together. That's all good, ready to go. You do have to remove the guard. So that's what I found out. So it says to remove and turn 180, which turning 180 doesn't make sense if you remove. So turning 180 wouldn't do you any good, because it doesn't do you much good sitting back there. So we put a spring compressor on the spring, squeeze that, and then you got that rubber bump in there, so that's in the way. Got the spring out of the way, then took my air Sawzall thing and cut through it, pulled that bracket out that these bolt to. She had 3 tabs. I had a tab here, here, and on the back. That was made out of metal, but to get it out of there, you had to release the pressure on this. I'm not sure why these are missing paint, because this tire isn't going to hit it. But when I did the other side, I thought maybe we did it with the spring compressor. But then I came over here and I'm like, nope, they're already like that. I don't know why. Anyway, we got that off of there. That link on the other side, we were able to put that in the bench vise and bend that bar back. So we got that back together. Got the brake lines all run, tires on. The bolts are plenty long. You got lots of thread out past the nut. And pretty tough looking, I think. Definitely a lot tougher looking than the old one. And I like that orange a lot better than that orange. That orange is a little bit too light. You know, that's more orangey. Orangey. Anyway, that's where we are. It's all back together. We're going to change the oil in it. And we're going to try putting a board on this and pulling on this with a winch off of the same item and see if we can pull this back versus taking it off and trying to put it in a vise, or a press. Because if you put it in a press, this is crinkled on the back side. It's actually wrinkled. Plus this is stretched. So to get that to come back, this spot is going to be weaker. So if you put it in a press, this is going to want to bend before this does. So to get that to actually react correctly, you would have to heat this up and get this all red hot, then put it in the press and push it, and then this would move before this. But instead of doing all that and having to take it off the machine, we're going to try in a couple days. We're going to hook this to the trailer, put a board from here to the front of the trailer. It's a gooseneck trailer. Put it to that, and then hook the winch that's on the trailer right up here. So this can't move, and then winch against that and see if it can pull and straighten it out a little to pull this away. Because this, if I pull that wedge out, this is still touching the plastics up there. So it's got to come back more. But if it don't happen, we'll run it anyway. We'll be able to go on the run this coming weekend with it. So anyway, that's where we are. I hope this helps someone out there. That's what the Super ATV high clearance arms and standard trolling arms look like. A couple little tips along the way. Fairly simple overall. Be really simple if you didn't have that back bumper. That makes it a little more complicated, but I think they're a nice upgrade. They're definitely strong. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.